For the last 24 hours, everyone's been asking the same thing. Who made the base hero checklist? Who's in? Who's out? Which new faces are joining the arena in 2026? Well, tonight we find out. Spoiler season continues right now. Welcome back. This is day 2 of BoBA spoiler season. Yesterday we covered everything new coming to the 2026 edition, but today is a big one. We are revealing all 60 base heroes for the Griffey set. Brand new faces, a few returning favorites, some absolutely wild art reveals, so let's jump right in. We start things at the top with Maverick, inspired by Cooper Flagg, one of the biggest young stars in basketball. Fearless, confident, and the name fits him perfectly. Following him is Brawl-era, inspired by Aaron Judge, a returning hero with fresh art and still crushing baseballs into orbit. Next up is Victory, inspired by Victor Wembanyama, a generational alien doing things no one else can physically do. Then we've got Dijon, inspired by Bijan Robinson, smooth, explosive, and slippery in all the best ways. And right after that comes Crossbow, inspired by Sidney Crosby, nearly 20 years in and still elite. Staying in that momentum, we move into Warden, inspired by Cam Ward. Then there's PB Buckets, inspired by Paige Beckers, cold-blooded, incredibly skilled, and always ready to take the final shot. Following her is Scuba, inspired by Tarek Scuball, one of the nastiest left-handed pitchers in the game. After that is Hollyburst, inspired by Tyrese Halliburton, smooth, crafty, and one of the best pure passers in basketball. And rounding out this opening stretch is Scary, inspired by Terry McLaurin, a route running technician who is somehow always open. Glad to see Scary Terry in the set. Let's keep rolling. Up next is Dumper, inspired by Cal Raleigh. Big power, big presence, and his new art looks fantastic. Then we have Switchblade, inspired by Travis Hunter, a rare two-way athlete who impacts the game everywhere. After that comes Cupid, inspired by Jordan Love, a returning hero with updated art and a quarterback who continues to trend upward. Next is Air Ace, inspired by Ace Bailey, one of the most explosive young players in basketball, flying above the rim every chance he gets. Then we've got Maxed Out, inspired by Tyrese Maxey, lightning quick and entirely fearless attacking the basket. Following him is King Tuck, inspired by Kyle Tucker, a quiet superstar who shows up when it matters. After that, we hit Macho, inspired by Manny Machado, smooth, stylish, and we're showing his card art today because it looks incredible. Next up is Gladiator, inspired by Roman Anthony, a young talent with huge upside and breakout potential. Then comes Brockness, inspired by Brock Bowers, a total mismatch nightmare. He plays like a cheat code. And then finishing this section is Fungi, inspired by Kawhi Leonard, a returning hero who lets his game do all the talking. Moving on, we start the next set with Wattage, inspired by TJ Watt, pure electricity on every snap. Then comes Gunner, inspired by Gunnar Henderson, fast, powerful, confident, and built like a franchise cornerstone. Next is Marksman, inspired by Lauri Markkanen, one of the cleanest shooters in the league. Then we move to D-Harp, inspired by Dylan Harper, crafty, explosive, and full of swagger. After him is Genetic, inspired by Ashton Genty, built like a custom player with elite athleticism. Following him, we have Double Check, inspired by Aaron Rodgers, a returning hero and still one of the most naturally gifted throwers ever. Then there's Caliber, inspired by Caleb Williams, creative, dynamic, and a highlight factory waiting to happen. Next is Escape Artist, inspired by Jordan Spieth, golf's master of turning disasters into magic. Then we've got J-Cam, inspired by Junior Caminero, a young hitter with unreal bat speed. And finishing this block is Generator, inspired by VJ Edgecombe, explosive and a walking highlight. Now for the next stretch, we start with Tattoo, inspired by Fernando Tatis Jr., a returning fan favorite and one of the most electrifying athletes alive. Next up is Braun, inspired by AJ Brown, built like a tank and plays like one. Then comes Cicada, inspired by Cade Cunningham, calm, composed, and always in control of the tempo. After him is Courthouse, inspired by Cortland Sutton, physical, dependable, and dominant at the catch point. Then we hit Bandolero, inspired by Paulo Banchero, a returning hero with power and finesse. Following him is Kettlebell, inspired by Ketel Marte, consistently clutch and quietly elite. After that is Jackhammer, inspired by Jack Caglianone, a two-way monster who hits baseballs into the stratosphere. Then we get Baldwin, whose art is awesome, inspired by Drake Baldwin, big confidence and big power. After that is Rook, inspired by Brent Rooker, underrated pop and serious momentum behind him. And finishing this group is Camera, inspired by Alvin Kamara, smooth, balanced, controlled, and one of the best movers in football. His art is also in today's video, as you can see on screen. We keep it moving with Homestead, inspired by Nick Kurtz, tall, powerful, and full of upside. Then there's Dartboard, inspired by Jackson Dart, a gunslinger with crisp mechanics, and yes, we have his art to reveal today as well, as you can see on screen. Next up is K9, inspired by Kenneth Walker III, explosive, violent, and dangerous every time he touches the ball. Then comes Super Baby, inspired by Raphael Devers, a returning hero with new art who hits nothing but missiles. After him is Javalanche, inspired by Jamal Murray, icy when the game gets tight, and another one who is returning. Next is Wild Bill, inspired by William Contreras, high energy, big personality, and a clubhouse spark plug. Then we move into Thorn, inspired by DeMar DeRozan, mid-range master and still impossible to guard. Up next is Chiller, inspired by Cam Thomas, a microwave scorer who heats up instantly. Then we've got Zephyr, inspired by Jung Ho Lee, I hope I said that right, known as the grandson of the wind, smooth, fast, and effortless. And rounding out this section is Lumber, inspired by James Wood, huge frame, huge power, and one of baseball's most exciting young bats. We start this next section with Golden Bullet, inspired by Matthew Golden, explosive and built for big plays. After that is Osmosis, inspired by Ozzy Albies, a switch hitting machine with non-stop energy. Then we've got Decap, inspired by DK Metcalf, built like a superhero, moves like a sprinter. After that is Bellcamp, inspired by Christian Campbell, athletic, smooth, and quickly rising. Next up is Bangford, inspired by Wyatt Langford, hits absolute tanks and plays with fire. Then comes Force Field, inspired by Justin Fields' elite speed and elite playmaking ability. After him is Amoeba, inspired by Colin Murray Boyles, fluid, versatile, and moves like he's made of water. Next is Action, inspired by Jackson Holiday, a returning hero and baseball's next superstar. Then we hit Go-Kart, inspired by Evan Carter, disciplined, smooth, and incredibly smart. And finally, Castler, inspired by Stefan Castle, big frame, big tools, and a ton of potential. And there it is, all 60 base heroes in the 2026 edition of BoBA, brand new faces, returning favorites, and some absolutely incredible art we got to leak today. Tomorrow, spoiler season continues as we reveal the full featured and highlighted hero list. You do not want to miss it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us which base hero you are most excited to chase this year now that you have the full list. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 3.